So, good evening. Hello. Somebody is there. Okay, this is always really difficult for me because I have to wear my glasses to read what I have here, but I cannot see anything else. So if I fall from the front of the stage, just somebody please catch me. Today, in case you're in any doubt, is Tuesday. I know I have to remind myself it's always difficult here at CA to know which day of the week it is. When we finish tonight, you will be more than halfway through the week. That's the bad news. The good news is that before we get to the end of tonight, we have a wonderful combination of artists for you. You can see probably behind me I'm surrounded by exotic instruments that I have to say I don't understand most of them, and certainly they have far too many strings for me to even think about playing. But they belong to our first artist tonight, Zudiara, who many of you know from before here. He was born and grew up in Mali, and he's lived in several other African countries, and he descends from a family of griots. Everybody know what a griot is? Okay, I won't need to tell you then, that's right. Well, in West Africa, it's a poet, a singer or a musician, and historically, the griots played a very important role in the royal court in Mali. A griot had to be able to sing for the people and for the king, and to be able to tell historical tales. And he must know everything of the people present and their family relations. I don't know if Zoo knows all that, but hopefully. He's lived from his music since he was 12 years old. He played with all kind of legendary orchestras in Africa, and he plays the instruments he plays, among many others, I'm sure, a guitar, the kora, that's the African harp, and I believe, if I'm right, the harp you will hear tonight, which has 43 strings. All guitarists here, think about that, 43 strings. And he made it himself as well, even more amazing. An agoni, that's a 4-string guitar, I prefer the sound of that. A balafon, you all know what that is, and a djembe. He takes elements from jazz, salsa, R&B in his music, and he's lived in Holland since 1990. So would you please give a very warm welcome to start the evening, Zudiara.
Ernesto. Nana momalumaye, ada guru nana momalumaye, ada gitar falalu nana momalumaye. Ya fama se ya ware, ya fama se ya ware, ya fama se ya ware, ya fama se ya ware. Absa mami wata, oh yeah 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 oh mami. But you oh yeah yeah yeah, but you oh yeah, but you oh yeah yeah yeah, but you oh yeah. le dile, il faut le dire. Il faut le dire, mollo, il faut le dire.
Well, that was one of the most amazing starts to an evening I ever recall. You know, it's like um, ultimate chilling out music. At the end of a busy day, it's like kind of having a shower or a cool breeze. Absolutely amazing. And that, I'll tell you, people, was worth the price of your ticket tonight already. You don't need anything else. That was just fantastic, guys. And it does always amaze me. I mean, you know, I've been coming here a long time, and I've traveled a lot of other places, but to actually find a gathering of people, a small gathering of people with such diversity and such talent mixed together is really awe-inspiring. So fantastic. Sorry, I just forgotten where I put my glasses. I must get one of those bits of string, something. I'm sure I've done a lot of these for you before, but there's a few quotes here about art and the diversity that we share. Some of them are serious, and some of them aren't. I'll leave you to decide which are which. Modern art is what happens when painters stop looking at girls and persuade themselves they have a better idea. Bad artists always admire each other's work. That was Oscar Wilde. Artists colour the sky red because they know it's blue. Those of us who aren't artists must colour things the way they really are, or people might think we're stupid. And there's, what else do we have here? Oh yeah, this is good. Think about this one. Art is not about thinking something up. It's the opposite, getting something down. And to see, we must forget the name of the thing we are looking at. That's maybe a little deep for this early in the evening. I'm not sure I understand any of that. But let's see how we're doing here. Now, something pretty different, I guess, following that. But that's the beauty of being here. Another artist, well, from the Netherlands now, Shegun Adigrati. I again apologise for my English pronunciation, but if they must ask us English people to MC, they must expect dreadful pronunciation, okay? Oh, thank you. That's obviously the English contingent, the expats at the back there. Shegun is a dancer, a choreographer, a singer and a presenter, and a born entertainer. He discovered from a very young age that he loved the stage, and especially to begin with, singing. But in his teens, he discovered another talent for dance. He said to me this evening at dinner that he loved and he wanted to inspire people. And inspire us, I think, is what he's going to do. You combine his talents with an overflowing love for Christ, and you get inspiring, raw worship from the street. So I hope we're ready, Shega, for Shegun Adigrati.
Good evening. I'm very privileged to be here. I am so grateful that I've been thought of to be able to be here, and I'm so happy to be among such a great people with gift and talents. And most of all, it makes me very feel at home because yeah, we all have the same Papa, which is Jesus. So it makes me very well at home, and I'm so grateful. And I thank everyone that has helped me to be able to be here. So thank you very much, and I hope that you'll be inspired by what I'm going to do now. It's about Adam. That no matter what your background is, no matter what mistake you have made in life, you can always come back. And he has sacrificed his life just for you, just for me. So we are equal. So no matter what we have done, God is mercy, and his mercy endures forever. So God bless.
you fall down. You know you messed up, and though you tried to, you couldn't get up. So you push your shade up here, pull your hood down, put your guard up, and keep your head down. Please don't run away. I know you feel ashamed. You're the reason why I came. I just wanted you to know you can fly with wings as eagles. I can do the impossible. Dear Adam, dear Adam. And because I love you so, I have chosen to trade places. So now you can come back home. Dear Adam,
So I'm a little bit out of breath, of course. 5 minutes dance all by itself is hard. So the thing is that be inspired, and especially the youth. If you have a vision, if you have a dream, just go for it. And most of all, do it to encourage, to build up, and to honor Jesus Christ, and His blessing will endure forever. Amen.
Thank you, Shergan. Thank you. So I said we were a diverse bunch of people, and we certainly are. That was amazing. You may remember, and I don't apologise, but you may have heard some of these before, but I have a collection of country song titles. Some of you have heard some of these. Now, the reason this collection has grown is because I used to say some of the titles when I was doing, in England some years ago, I did some touring with Rick Wakeman, who some of you know, a keyboard player from Yes. But he was playing solo, and I was just doing the support for him. Fantastic man, a very funny man. And he knew that I had this little interest in country song titles. And every now and again, he emails some song titles when he finds them. And some of them I could never possibly repeat to you. They are amazing. But others of them I can. So that's all right, man. He's back. I don't know if this is part of the show. He's lost his credit card. I saw that. I was going to pick it up later. I've missed my chance now. That's a shame. So, country titles. How can I miss you, darling, when you won't go away? And I think probably the same person wrote, I still miss you, baby, but my aim's getting better. Please tell me that's enough for now. Sugar, are you ready? Oh, good. Good, I thought it was. I've only got another 30 or 40 more to tell you later on. But now, there we go. I knew they were somewhere. In Motion Trio from Germany. I think many of you have heard them play before, so you're in for a treat. They've been working together now for about 10 years, and it's a musical relationship based on their friendship, which seems very appropriate. They can come here and play for us. Now, again, this is where my pronunciation will be terrible, but I will try. So we have Heike Wetzel on the flute, Wolfgang Zerbin on the piano, and Helmut Kandert on percussion. Their latest CD, which is called Day Off, I assume that is, and it wasn't a misprint in the stuff I read, and they're just having a day off in September, but it says their latest CD, called Day Off, is released in September this year. I hope that's right. So please, a warm welcome to In Motion Trio. Good, you've ruined the gag now anyway. I was just going to get up and say, would you please welcome the In Motion duo, but she's back now, so there's three of them, so you spoiled my joke, so what can I do?
Yeah, I have to say something, Paul, to you because it's very special to me. I just thought it's actually great that you welcome me on stage because I grew up in East Germany and for 17 years, and then we moved to the West. And Paul, you're tapes were copied and copied again, and we couldn't buy LPs this time because it was the East, the border was closed, and all the youth groups, I was between 14 and 17, we copied and copied, and you know how it sounds, but we really, the East loves you, East Germany, and I know, of course, the other countries too, but perhaps you should tour East Germany again.
I would love to. What? Maybe with you.
Yeah. So you get to know each other quite well in 10 years. We did a lot of kilometers on the motorways together, and we even were invited to do concerts on a cruise ship on the MS Europa. We were 3 weeks on a ship, so you can't escape. And we had a good time together. But over the years, we learned just to respect each other and to appreciate that we are very different. And yeah, we realized that sometimes you just need a good sense of humor to be together every day for a whole weekend or for 3 weeks even. Next title comes from this experience, and it's called Just Kidding. Next piece has title Place of Rest. And Walla did compose this title like all the others, but there's something special. Underneath the title is written for Adriane. And Walla did write this piece when he just was totally fresh in love and, nothing else than Adriane. So it's great to find this place of rest where you can be yourself and where you can be just put your feet up and somebody loves you and somebody appreciates you as you are. And it's a great feeling. And I know this too. So when I come back home and somebody's there waiting for me, somebody I know, it's great, you have somebody who loves you. But sometimes it's deep in my heart, it's a place where I'm longing for more love, for more, somebody gives me worth and appreciates me and puts me just in a place where I think, that's a place of rest. I can just rest. And even in a conference like this, sometimes I feel, even for so many friends and lots of people, I feel, there's a place where I want to be, where I want to feel very deep love, somebody who's there for me. And I think if you just during this piece, this wonderful piece of music, if you feel like this, and I think this place is a place where Jesus is waiting for you, and nobody else, nobody who loves you as a husband or a wife or whatever, can give this kind of love, what you find on this place. And I just encourage you to close your eyes and imagine how Jesus puts his arm around you and tells you, it's okay, I love you, you are precious. Rest. Here's a place of rest.
So, thank you. And thank you, Heike, for the kind words. I have very fond memories of those days touring many years ago. And when we used to sell tapes, and our tour bus was pulled by a horse. It was such a long time ago. But I love the fact that when you watch really great musicians playing, especially when you have the advantage of a front row seat, that you almost don't notice they are playing an instrument. You know, they are connected to the instrument. Their whole body becomes part of the instrument and the way they move and all the rest of it. It's fantastic. Also, did you notice the incredible attention to detail? The fact that Wolfgang, the drummer's brushes, were exactly the same colour pink as Heike's dress. See, I mean, they think of everything. That's just remarkable. Now, I think, glasses, sorry. Right. Painting. This is one for Peter Smith, this. Painting is the art of protecting flat surfaces from the weather and exposing them to the critic. This is good too. Abstract art. Now, I don't want you to take offense at this. It's just a funny quote, okay? Abstract art is a product of the untalented, sold by the unprincipled to the utterly bewildered. Okay, there's a lot of abstract art. Actually, talking of artists, I have to tell you, tonight, what should have happened last night is going to happen, if that makes any sense. The exhibition of all the artworks, and there's quite a lot of them, will open tonight. Now, nobody gave me a time. Now, Peter or anybody, is that straight after we finish here, or is that 11 o'clock, or straight after here? Okay, and that's outside Forum 2, which is in the corridor. It's the whole corridor that runs down to the restaurant. Okay, and it's really worth seeing. What's the country music? Oh, we need some more titles then. Perfect. Perfect. My wife ran off with my best friend, and I sure do miss him. You're the reason our kids are so ugly. It's a real song. It's true. If the phone don't ring, you'll know it's me. You have to think about that. I wasn't going to do any of that because I was trying to think, the exhibition. All the artists and the people who bring work as well with them, often they're the kind of unsung heroes. They don't, I mean, some of them we see here, but a lot of people don't get their moment on the stage. So I think we should give them a round of applause. In fact, in England, what we would say is let's give them a big warm hand on their opening. So do go and see that when we finish today. I'm assuming we're getting close. Nobody's told me that we're not, but actually the gentleman you're going to see now, for anyone who's been at CA for the last 2 or 3 years, will not need much introduction. I mean, the first time, I think it was the first time Jürgen Scheibel was at CA, was in Dawn, and he basically painted the entire outside of the castle. Outside. I won't explain how, but it was quite a remarkable experience. Also, the inside of the theatre. However, I'm not going to read you all his CV because it's just amazing. He's a researcher, musician, media artist. Used to live in Helsinki, but now lives and works in Germany. He does research. He's worked for Nokia. He's been awarded all kinds of awards, which I suppose is obvious because that's what you get when you're awarded something, isn't it? An award, yeah. He was recognised as a Forum Nokia champion for his driving vision to be a bridge builder between art, engineering and research. Reuters News, Sky News have featured his creation, the Moby Spray art tool. He's the author of a book, Mobile Python. I presume that has no relation to Monty Python. No, okay. Recently, as well, he's been made a professor of interactive computing. I hope I've got that right, Jürgen, at Stuttgart University. And if that isn't enough, tonight what he's going to present to us will be accompanied by some of his own music. So the absurdly talented Jürgen Scheibel.
Okay, hi, good evening everyone. What I've brought here to you tonight is again my MobiSpray art tool and my hat. And yeah, my hat is needed because it's a magic tool. As you can see, I'm painting just with my mobile phone on this straw. And without hat, this doesn't work. Okay, so why straw tonight here on stage? Well, typically I paint on big buildings, high big buildings, monuments, the nature out there. And I was wondering, how can we bring something inside on stage? And I thought, okay, well, sometimes I really do also something indoors, but also big, like on farms, inside a stable. So I thought I'm going to bring a stable here inside, okay? But then again, I tried to get some straw for a stable here nearby Bad Honnef in some farm. So I got only 4 of these. I thought, okay, you guys have to imagine the whole stable around, okay? All the animals running around and all that kind of stuff. It's okay? All right. But if we are lucky, we see later also some animal life coming, maybe out of the straw, who knows. However, if you smell, you know, the farming smell here, that's part of the experience. Because nowadays with digital experience, we try to, well, give experiences for all the senses. So smell is tonight part of the sense, okay? I hope you enjoy. Alright, that's our live animal for tonight. Fresh from the stable. I hope you can smell it. Okay. Alright. So as it is with this kind of art, it's digital, is ephemeral. Of course, it always disappears, which is part of the fun. And so that's why, well, we paint over it. So where's the animal? Okay, it's not alive anymore. Ah, here it goes again. All right, so this is our pig stable with a pig inside. All right, thank you very much. All right.
Well, you can't say you don't get some different experiences, Pierre. Thank you, Jürgen. That was truly amazing. And a leading role for members of the crew as well. Fantastic. I'm very impressed with that. Now, while they're moving all that away, just something a little more serious to listen to. I think I may have read this before, but again, I don't apologize because it's worth hearing many times for all of us. May the angels in their beauty bless you. May they turn towards you streams of blessing. May the angel of awakening stir your heart to come alive to the eternal within you, to all the invitations that surround you. May the angel of healing turn your wounds into sources of refreshment. May the angel of the imagination enable you to stand on the true thresholds, at ease with your ambivalence, and drawn in new directions through the glow of your contradictions. May the angel of compassion open your eyes to the unseen suffering around you. May the angel of wildness disturb the places where your life is domesticated and safe, and take you to the territories of true otherness, where all that is awakened in you can fall into its own rhythm. May the angel of Eros introduce you to the beauty of your senses, to celebrate your inheritance as a temple of the Holy Spirit. And may the angel of justice disturb you to take the side of the poor and the wronged. May the angel of encouragement confirm you in worth and self-respect, that you may live with the dignity that presides in your soul. And may the angel of death arrive only when your life is complete and you have brought every given gift to the threshold where its infinity can shine. May all the angels be your sheltering and joyful guardians. That's written by a poet and a priest and a philosopher, sadly no longer with us, died very young, called John O'Donoghue. If you've never come across him or heard of him, I really recommend you look him up on the internet and you read some of his writings. Fantastic stuff. Now, we're making progress, boys. It's amazing. In 10 minutes, they've transformed it from a farmyard, swept the stage. Service beyond the call of duty. It's fantastic. Now, Crystal Mayer, a Dutch singer and songwriter who explores the boundaries of jazz, theatre pop, and electronics. Now, she does some duo stuff with a collaboration with a producer called Phil Martin, also known as Jaffa. And they made an album called Echoes, released last year, with jazzy harmonies, electronic beats, and vocal sampling, assisted by squeaking synthesizer sounds. Synth pop with dreamy as well as absurd lyrics. An example I took from the information here of the lyrics says, "Collecting hairs from the sink, trying to stick them back to my head." I've been trying to do that for many years, and I assure you, it doesn't work. But tonight, she's going to be performing songs from a recent EP called Without Hesitation, together with Jurien Berger. Crystal said, and actually I really relate to this, they're always changing and experimenting with arrangements. I mean, I know that feeling, and I know many people here, certainly musicians, I'm sure other artists. It's like, when is a song finished? I still change songs that I wrote 25, 30 years ago. Some people say I just forget bits of them, but actually it's not true. I change them deliberately, honestly. Which kind of all fits in with, there's another quote I had for you tonight, but it fits in with what Crystal said about experimenting with arrangements. And that quote says that a work of art is never finished. It's just abandoned. Maybe we move on to something else. So, I hope we're ready. Please, would you welcome Crystal Mayer.
Traveling to the far ends of the world. Traveling to places yet unknown. Take me with you. Show me what's there. Discover together, painting a picture. And you, how about going on this little adventure with us? Down, 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 down. You paint me a picture with the brush in my hand of places yet undiscovered in a foreign land. Nobody knows what we are up to. Wherever we aim to go, it stays between me and you. Along the way we find vineyards are blooming, marvelous views that show a glimpse of the landscape we drew. And I know we'll get there. It will become ours in time. In time. fled from the city, planning for a new start. On top of that cliff view, point down to where we walked. Nobody knows what we are up to. Wherever we aim to go, it stays between me and you. I love the way we find vineyards are blooming, marvelous views that show a glimpse of the landscape we drew. And I know we'll get there. Yes, I know we'll get there. I know we'll get there. Nobody knows. I love the way we find vineyards are blooming, marvelous views that show a glimpse of the landscape we drew. And I know we'll get there. I know we'll get there. I know it will become miles in time, in time, 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 time. You know that I want you, so take me by the hand. There's no no's and no maybes in this foreign land. Why are you so far away? Why are you so far away? Wish you were here. Why are you so far away? Wish you were here. 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 Why are you so far away? Wish you were here. Wish you were here. Why are you so far away? Wish you were here. Wish you were here. Why are you so far away? Wish you were here. Wish you were here. Why are you so far away? So far away. Why are you so far away? So far away. Why are you so far away? So far away. Why are you so far away? So far away. Why are you so far away? So far away. Why are you so far away? Do do da 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 ya, do do da, do do da 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 ya, ha ha hey ha, do do da da ya, do do da, do do da da ya, do do do. How are you doing, my friend? I know I've been gone, traveling for long. Are you enjoying yourself, or are you down just possible that I just don't know what's going on inside your mind in silence. Oh, how I wish I could be with you now. Sit by your side and hear you out. Dum dum bum bee da ya, hum hum hey. Dum dum bum bee da ya, dum bum bang boom. Dum 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 gay da ya, dum bum ba ba. Dum dum bum bee da ya, dum bum. People make plans and move on. They're gone with a kiss, and that's how it is. But when you hold someone dear, then saying goodbye is like dying inside. Oh, how is it possible that I just don't know what's going on inside your mind in silence? Oh, how I wish I could be with you now. Stay at your house and talk into the deep night out. And if another country calls, crossing the distance makes it difficult to keep the friendship like it was. Will we hold on, although if don't think because I'm here, I don't really care. I just want you to know I'm thinking a lot about you. It's about time to give you that call. Pick up the phone, ask you how have you been? Do 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 You are so beautiful. I never want to lose you, but I may. If I try to hold on too fast, so fly on if you may, or stay here with me. reach in my hand, my little friend, and as you open up your wings, I see perfect symmetry, a vibrant complexion. I used to be afraid, but now I silently gaze upon your charm in awe. I admire your strength, yet so fragile you are. At times, I wondered if I could lock you up in a little cage. Always carry you around, no escape. But I let you free to go, free to be. I cannot make you stay endlessly, 'cause you're to discover the world, enjoy the sweetness in the air and the colors of God's care. At times I worry about alluring flowers at the riverside, a sudden interception of your flight. But I let you free to go, free to be. I cannot make you stay endlessly, 'cause you're you're not mine. Someday, when you are around, my arm still stretched out, my hand free.
Thank you. Juriaan Berger.
Christel Meijer.
So, fantastic. This is definitely one of the most eclectic, I think that's the English word, I can't think of an easier one, evenings of like diversity that I've probably ever seen here, and it's truly fantastic. And still more to go. Maybe, as I said at the beginning of the evening, that by the time we get to the end of tonight, we are halfway through. In fact, more than halfway through. And I'm sure they will get a big thank you at the end. But just watching tonight, what these guys managed to do, I mean, not just these guys here, and the changeovers, I have to say, are really fast and very smooth. They make life, if you like, for whoever's emceeing, pretty easy. I say that now, they'll probably drop the screen and it'll be 20 minutes of country titles, but hopefully not. But I think, for the guys who do the sound and the lights, and not just in this venue, but in the other smaller places around, and these guys who work tirelessly every night, I think a lot of respect is due. So I think we should really, halfway through the week, let's give them a half-time round of applause. Yeah. Okay, that's enough. You don't want to make them feel like they're too important. That's fine for now. Save the rest for the end of the week. This is good. Creativity is allowing yourself to make mistakes. Art is knowing which ones to keep. That's good. Treat a work of art like royalty. Let it speak to you first. That's good. Now, on that subject, we're moving on. Many of you know, I know she's been a friend of Christian artists for many years, Jenny Verplank from Belgium. Lives near Bruges and attended the Art Academy of Bruges. She's also worked as a missionary in Togo in West Africa and is still very influenced by African culture. She works as a volunteer with Art for All and uses her considerable talents to bring joy and creativity to traumatized children in difficult circumstances. She's very much developed her own abstract style and use of materials. She lives in an old school building and convent and works there and has a gallery there. And a quote from Jenny herself says that art for her is a way of living. And I think that's great. That's really important. Art, like being a Christian, is not something you do. It's something you are. So she's going to tell us a little bit about what she's been doing. So please welcome Jenny Verplank.
Hello. Tonight I will show you some pictures. And I paint a lot about tables. You can do so many things with tables. So you can sit together, you drink together, you have a talk together, you can cry together, and you can do something under the table also. And up the table is you see the straw. And you have to make a place also for Jesus on your table. So, and then you see how I made sculptures from paper. And then a few photos from my gallery and the artwork what I do with the children. So, enjoy it.
Old empty bed, springs hard, feels like old Ned. Wish I was dead. What did I do to be so black and blue? Even the mouse ran from my house. They laugh at you and scorn you too. What did I do to be so black and blue? I'm white inside. That don't help my case, 'cause I can't hide. What is in my face? Ain't friend, my sin only in my skin. What did I do to be so black and blue?
So, thank you, Jenny. We're getting close to the end of a very, I think, special, extraordinary night here at CA. And the person I'm going to introduce next really doesn't need any introducing, because without him, probably none of us would be here. We'd all be somewhere else, and a lot poorer for it. So it's the captain of our ship, Lane Riviere.
So, for the ones who were with us this morning, we had Aart-Jan de Geus. He is an old friend of me, and I know him from the time he was in the board of the Christian Trade Unions of the Netherlands. And we got friends, which is interesting. And he became even a member because he plays piano, and for a while he was director of a youth choir from his church. Now, this man rose to a very important and leading position over the years. And for a while he was Minister of Social Affairs in the Netherlands. But now he is still member of our Christian Trade Unions of Artists. So I can talk to him as his chairman to my member. That's always funny when you're in that position. And what I liked about him, that he had some difficulties with his schedule, but finally he could rearrange that. And he was with us for a few days, so from the Sunday till end of this morning. And that shows attitude, that he loves the art. And having such a friend on such a very high position here in Germany, it means something. It means that he cares about us. And in his speech this morning, I don't want to repeat all of that, but finally he came to 3 points. But he said, if you look to all the crises and all the dilemmas we are facing today, is there anything what I can give you as advice. And basically he found 3 points. He said 1 is be prepared. Because you never know. Be prepared. So whatever the future may bring, but be prepared. That means that you always must have had somewhere your backpack packed, right? And what is in your backpack? Well, a lot of stuff. Basically, you need to prepare yourself who you are. Because God gave you more as one gift. Once I used that example in a sermon in a church. I said, God gave you a toolbox. And you open the toolbox, and in it are many tools. Have you ever used all the tools? This week is helping you to prepare. Because there is so much more what you can explore in yourself, what God has given to you. Well, start using that. So that was 1, be prepared. The second one is use your creativity to shape reality. I thought this is an interesting sentence. I wrote it down here. Use your creativity. Because wherever you are, you shape your own reality. Because too easily we look around to the large structures of our world and, to be honest, can we have any influence? And to quote Obama, yes, we can. But where do we have that influence? Well, exactly on the place we are, where you are, where I am. I want to be the difference. And that is one of the most important values of our Christian faith. Yes, we can shape our own reality. In the parable of the good seed, Jesus said that the good seeds are not just words. It's very interesting what he said. He told to the people, you are the good seed. You, the persons who were listening to him, said, you are the good seed. That means you need to be planted and rooted and stay there and live there and bear fruit where you are. Interesting things to think about. Yes, we can. Making a difference. I think our John this morning was totally right. And finally he said we need to find a balance between the liberty of art, because we all want to follow our dreams, but there is a very strong economic reality that we will have to live, and finally we need some bread on the table. So sometimes we have to accept orders and do work we don't like, but still we can see that as honoring God, because every work we do is honoring God. And that brings me to the Bible verse of today, what is in your book. And it's a quote from Matthew, what Jesus said. At that moment, Jesus said, I am sending you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. Be on your guard against man. Basically, in other words, it's exactly the same what Arjan said. So be alert, be prepared, be on your guard, means just be prepared. And then the quote, like sheep among wolves, and shrewd as snakes, means be creative and have an open eye for the reality of our world. After this week comes another week. And some come on holiday, or go home, and finally all will be at home. And then the question is, how are we going to live? What are we going to do? What are you and me going to do with who we are? And with all the great things we have encountered and experienced this week? I truly believe that God has a purpose and meaning with our continent and with you and me and with the very place where we live. Too easily we dream about being on all the big stages around the world. And some will, but most will be never. And still, in your house, in your atelier, in your workshop, in your little studio, making your own CDs, having only a small circle of possibilities to perform, still It has value to create great things to glorify God. And God truly loves that. He loves you. God bless you.
Okay. Oh, I need the microphone. There's too many things to remember, you see. I have the pad, I have paper, I have my glasses. It's like when I play, I just need a guitar and I turn up and that's all there is. This is too difficult. One of the things I've been thinking about, honestly, as I've been sitting down there tonight, is that the next man you're going to see on stage, you've seen already many times this week, and you've seen him before. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few other people appear that you've seen before this week. And I have to say, I've heard a few people say, and I've even thought it myself, has to be said, that sometimes, oh, well, it's the same old people who are always playing. But actually, you know, we should be very grateful for that because, sorry, take my glasses off when I don't need them and I can at least pretend I can see you. We should be very grateful for that because, again, in all the festivals, the places I've ever travelled in a very long time of travelling, to actually just turn up or else to just email people, you know, a week before you go and say, would you play guitar with me or would you play bass with me? Would you play piano with me? Is unheard of. You know, for people to just say, yeah, sure, I'll do it for nothing, no problem, and some little rehearsal. And we have here a family of artists and musicians who are always willing and love to play and to play with each other in all different styles, in all different possibilities. And there's never a question of any payment. Just so you remember that on Thursday night, guys, when you play with me, okay? There's no question of any payment. But actually, it's a brilliant thing. And not only that, not only are they just great people, you know, the men and women who do that for us, but actually they're fantastic musicians as well. So I, for one, am not going to moan about that or try and let that thought go through my head again. And now, I'll put my glasses back on. You all very much know this young man from Holland, Paul van der Veen, one of Holland's top sax players. I didn't know this, that he started out playing with his brothers, 3 brothers, and they became an award-winning quartet, the Veen Brothers Quartet. And Paul originally, at the age of 11, played the clarinets. He's done an awful lot of things since then, and he's also dipped into different styles of music, from hip-hop, funk, classical, and world music. But still, I guess his first love is fundamentally jazz. He was a prize winner at the White Foundation World Sax Competition in London, and he often played in the Metropole Orchestra. And in that role, he's been on stage and played behind Al Jarreau, Bob Brookmeyer, Maria Schneider, Hank Jones, Chaka Khan. The list goes on and on. So for most of you, he needs no introduction. An incredible musician. Paul van der Veen.
Take your time. Should I talk in this mic? Is this on? Yeah. Thank you very much. Sorry for the delay. No, no problem. We talk about it later, maybe. No, there was. I'm glad you came.
This is all improvisation.
By the way, this is my brother from Holland, Matthew. Later, I'm going to ask Enlo to take a big bow together with Torsten. Torsten, by the way, where are you? We rehearsed all day. We didn't, but where are you? We need you. Oh, no problem. Torsten. By the way, while they're getting ready, this evening I want to go more in the direction of the jazz, which I love. Yeah, I'm sorry, Werner. No, he's one of the most jazzy German people I know. For what it's worth. Sorry. The next song is it's a fantastic song by John Coltrane. We practiced it with my workshop group, and it was actually already quite cooking. So I hope we can even do it better than that. But it's called Naima, and well, it's fantastic. By the way, how did you like my acting? Thank you. Moet het er wel uitvissen, maar I'm thinking about a change of profession. No, I'm not. Thank you. The night wouldn't be complete without Ruben Becks on the bass. Ruben. We're gonna play one more song. Nice.
Okay. Paul van der Veen and a lot of friends, and Anlo, wherever she is. Applause was for you as well. There she is. Never too late. Come and take her hand. Fantastic. What a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant night. What a real mixture and absolutely amazing. So thank you all for coming. The exhibition will be open outside the forum, corridor to the restaurant. The shop will be open and the bar will be open, I guess. So I'm not going to waste your time, and I'm not going to give you a blessing. Just maybe suggest this. Just sing like no one can hear you. Dance like no one's looking. And love like you can never be hurt. Good night. God bless you.